indulge in this kind of parochial and prejudicial politics? Before we open that up, here's why Udhayanidhi Stalin and his party are irked today. More than 2,500 crores were allocated for funding Sanskrit between 2014 and 2025. Funding for Sanskrit is channeled through 3 central Sanskrit universities and the Rashtriya Sanskrit Sansthan. Meanwhile, 113 crore rupees was allocated under the Grants for Promotion of Indian Languages scheme between 2014 and 15 and 2024 and 2025 for Tamil. So why this disparity in the kind of funding that's given is a question that the DMK is asking. This is why Udhayanidhi Stalin and the DMK are alleging stepmotherly treatment to the state and to their language.
தமிழுடைய வளர்ச்சிக்காக என்ன செஞ்சிருக்கீங்க கடந்த 10 வருஷத்துல? தமிழ் வளர்ச்சிக்காக கடந்த 10 ஆண்டுகள்ல ஒன்றிய அரசு நிதி ஒதுக்கின நிதி எவ்வளவு தெரியுமா? தமிழ் வளர்ச்சிக்கு வெறும் 150 கோடி ரூபாய். ஆனால் செத்த மொழி சமஸ்கிருதத்துக்கு ஒன்றிய அரசு கடந்த 10 ஆண்டுகள்ல ஒதுக்கின நிதி எவ்வளவு தெரியுமா? 2400 கோடி ரூபாய். தமிழ் வளர்ச்சிக்கு 150 கோடி ரூபாய், சமஸ்கிருத வளர்ச்சிக்கு 2400 கோடி ரூபாய். இதுதான் பிரதமர் மோடி அவர்களுடைய தமிழ் பாச நாடகம்.
What is a dead language as per Udhayanidhi Stalin? It's a language that often is not used for active communication anymore. That's by one definition a dead language. Well, Sanskrit is widely used in both Hindu and Buddhist religious rituals, in hymns and chants across India and beyond. Its continued use in integral cultural practices keeps it a living part of everyday life of millions of Indians. While it may not be a primary language or a primary vernacular for most people, thousands of people in India still report Sanskrit as their mother tongue. That number may have dwindled, but it still is a steady one. There have also been several villages across the country, especially in Karnataka and in Madhya Pradesh, where residents use Sanskrit even today for daily communication. That's a result of the revival efforts that we've seen for such a language. Sanskrit is an official language that's recognized by the Indian Constitution. It is taught as a second language or an optional language in hundreds of universities and schools globally, with around 1 lakh teachers in India alone. Till date, new literature in Sanskrit continues to be produced and published, including the daily newspaper in Mysuru since 1970. How then is it a dead language? Well, funds are needed to develop Sanskrit because it's seen as the foundation of India's linguistic and cultural heritage. Why does that irk the DMK? Sanskrit is considered as a root language for many Indian languages. Its preservation is seen as crucial for maintaining India's diverse cultural and linguistic identity. There's a vast amount of knowledge in fields like philosophy, in science, and literature, all of which dates back hundreds of years and is stored in Sanskrit manuscripts. What this increased funding does is that it helps translate and preserve and make this knowledge accessible to a wider audience. It keeps the language alive, quite contrary to what the DMK scion believes. These funds are also important because they support institutions like the Central Sanskrit University for teaching, for research. It awards degrees and diplomas and certificates, which eventually enables a lot of these people, pass outs of these universities, to go and take this practice out abroad, out in the country, out in the world. Some believe that Sanskrit's structure and precision can also be beneficial for developing and training AI systems. Why then do we see such disdain from the DMK?
The Chief Minister Udhayanidhi Stalin has to understand, nobody gives extra money to any language in our country. The number of Sanskrit universities in our country is more than the number of Tamil universities in our country. So naturally, Sanskrit universities get more money to promote that language. So we have requested the Tamil Nadu government to create a proposal to create more Tamil universities across our country. Who's stopping it?
Sanskrit is not a language used by many. See, Sanskrit, the percentage of people who speak Sanskrit is just 12%. The whole country. Not even 12. Some thousands. But Tamil is a language which is even learned by many people in the world. When you can spend 2,000 crores for Sanskrit, why not 2,000 crores for Tamil also?
S.G. Surya, BJP State Secretary of Tamil Nadu, is with us. Pula Rao, political analyst, joins us as well. And author and former CIC, Uday Mahurkar, will be with us just shortly. But Pula Rao, let me begin by asking you, why is it that the DMK, that Udhayanidhi Stalin believes that Sanskrit is a dead language?
Well, he's only stating that the language has not gone forward as the money is spent. You'll agree they've spent thousands of crores, and you're talking in thousands of people. There's so much they could have done. There are ancient Sanskrit manuscripts. They've not collected them. They've not paid any attention. All that, what he has probably hinted is that you spent huge funds, and there are hundreds of translators translating what? And then he compared it with Tamil, that you can spend more money on it. The Prime Minister said he loved Tamil, and he hasn't done anything about it. After all, this is something, this is a political statement of all concerned. They have to take advantage of their language. And by the way, entire Europe are also linguistic countries. Don't underplay language and the sentiment. Entire Europe. The language from France is different from Spain to Italy to Germany to 30, 40 countries, 40 languages. Therefore, to just come and say in India, you forget Tamil, we'll do this. It's
But
very
who is
unfortunate.
forgetting Tamil?
It is their forgetting Tamil. My friend there from BJP is there. Have they, why should he or those who represent the BJP, I politely ask, why don't you support the Tamil government, and say we want more funds, instead of saying you do this, you do that. That would be very good for their party and very good for the state. Don't forget one more thing. Nobody says Sanskrit is dead or anything. No language is dead. Even the Dead Sea languages are alive still, though only in scrolls. What they say is pointing out not enough work has been done on one. Money has been spent. You say universities are getting the money and what? They're paying professors
But that's
and
not what he
others
said.
and vice chancellors.
But that's
And
not what he
nothing is
said.
done.
He didn't ask why funds were being allocated and they were not being used. Udhayanidhi Stalin said, why are you giving 4 times, 5 times, 10 times the money to a language that's dead?
In a way, I will not go as far as he said. He was only demanding that what the Prime Minister said. I like Tamil very much. I want to learn Tamil. And he has shown concern. He has quoted from Tirukkural. All these things he has gone in. But what is the ground reality? Why not they take, Tamil is the oldest Indian language. It's been recognized as a classical language by UNESCO. Where is the importance for it that you're giving? You're not giving any importance. You see, I respect Sanskrit. I wish I knew it well. I wish I knew more of it because it's an ancient language and it's the mother of many, many languages. But is enough being done for it? Not at all. Not at all. The ancient Sanskrit transcripts and manuscripts were all there in Tamil Nadu, mind you, of all the funniest places. Manuscripts, where are they? There's nothing for them, except lip service. A lot of lip service is done. We are supporting Sanskrit. Are you against Sanskrit? Are you not supporting Sanskrit? Where have you done it? Where have you done it? You've done it nowhere. A few people are keeping the language alive and they're getting nothing out of it. I have read many complaints that those scholars and priests who are keeping the language alive, they get nothing. Therefore, it is definitely something to think about for the government of India.
Well,
How
I'm
to
glad
spend
that
their
unlike
money.
Udhayanidhi Stalin and many in the DMK, at least you believe that it's not a dead language and there are attempts that are being made to keep alive. But SG Surya, the DMK and its supporters, its allies come out and point out that this is stepmotherly treatment to Tamil Nadu, that you talk about the state, you talk about the Tamil language and its heritage and its culture, but that's all in words, that the BJP's words and actions don't match. How do you respond to that?
There are two debates in this pertinent issue. First of all, Udhayanidhi was launching a book called Dravidam 2.0. The very word Dravidam is a Sanskrit word to begin with. If it is a dead language, why is he launching a book named after Sanskrit language, which is Dravidam, is the first question. Second question, I do not need to bully down some language to praise my own language, which is Tamil. I am very proud of my Tamil language. Even the Prime Minister has quoted many times that Tamil is the oldest language in this world, not Sanskrit. I'm very proud of my language. That does not mean I have to demean Sanskrit. I have to put down Sanskrit and I'll have to do things that are nasty to Sanskrit. The DMK was part of the central UPA government from 2004 to 2014. The funds allocated to Tamil is 75 crores and the funds allocated to Sanskrit is 675 crores, which is more than 10 times the fund allocated to Tamil. So the DMK had union ministers throughout 10 years. Why didn't they do anything to change this scenario? Because Sanskrit has 18 national universities in this country, which needs to be funded by the government. Tamil has only one central university, which needs to be funded by the government. So the proportionate ratio will always be unfair. because 17 Sanskrit universities were established before 2014, before Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister. Do you want the government to stop funds to all the Sanskrit universities which were launched or started before Modi assumed office? There is no logic at all. We are telling you create more Tamil universities across the country. The central government is ready to fund. We have been telling this for the last 4 years to the DMK. They have not taken any steps. Even in the own state of Tamil Nadu, they have not taken any step to bring in one more national university after Tamil, which will be funded by the central government. You have not even given the proposal. So the point is, it will always be unfair because there are national universities created for Sanskrit from 1947, from the days of Jawaharlal Nehru, which needs to be funded. Because there are, if it is a dead language, why are there close to 2 lakh students who are studying Sanskrit course today? Please tell me. The same Tamil Nadu government to which Udhayanidhi Stalin is part of. It has Tamil Nadu government appointed Sanskrit teachers in hundreds of numbers. Sanskrit is given as an optional language for the second language from standard 6 to standard 12, not in CBSE, not in international syllabus, but in Tamil Nadu metric syllabus. If it is a dead language, why Tamil Nadu government is teaching Sanskrit in schools? If it is a dead language, why University of Madras, which is under the control of Tamil Nadu government, is having a separate Sanskrit chair, separate Sanskrit teachers, separate Sanskrit students? We agree that Sanskrit is not a spoken language. Nobody is claiming so. But it is a treasure of our country. We need to preserve it. We have seen so many languages that have become extinct. If Sanskrit is a treasure, we need to preserve it. That is being done by the government from 1947 to today. You cannot just juxtapose things and say we are giving more funds there, less funds here. I think that is totally an unfair argument. Secondly, Udhayanidhi Stalin's own sister, Sentamare, she runs private schools, group of private schools. All the schools teach Sanskrit. If it is a dead language, Mr. Deputy Chief Minister, why your sister-owned schools are teaching Sanskrit to students? Don't teach Sanskrit, at least in your own family schools. So your talks does not match with the actions. If it is a dead language, if it is against your policy,
So
your
as far as
ideology,
talks and
please.
words and actions not matching, Pularao, the same allegation is being put on the DMK as well. Uday Mahurkar, I'll just get you in, but Pularao, quick response to what the BJP has said.
One thing to say, I heard what Mr. Surya said. His sister, his mother, Stalin's daughter ran away from Russia. You know, Fidel Castro's sisters ran away from Cuba. Does it take anything away from Fidel Castro, from Stalin? It's not a valid argument. You see, the argument is, I heard Mr. Surya say, I don't deny his statistics, 19 universities, but what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they producing? Let them look at it. You will find they have produced translators who are not doing anything. I'm sorry to say that. Not nice to run a negative campaign, but they're not doing anything. That was the complaint which it should be explored. Where is the money going?
Sure.
You can just set up universities for fun. So I do agree. We need all languages. I have no thing about it. You know, remember one thing. Languages created countries, created states in India. Countries merged because of languages. Countries went to war because of languages. You have to be very cautious. And the DMK
More
has taken
reason,
the stance from
why
long time
such kind
ago.
of comments shouldn't be made. But Uday Mahurkar, this entire controversy started, and the foundation of the comment that Udhayanidhi Stalin made was because of the disproportionately given funds to Sanskrit and not to other classical languages like Tamil. That's really the nub of where his comment comes from. I'd like to believe that there's more than just.
I see it as
I'd like to believe that there's more than just, you know, that simple math about, oh, let's have stepmotherly treatment towards one and have favorable feelings towards one language. There obviously is some calculation to it.
We have to look at it from a very, very different view. You see, this is part of a larger game plan to prove correct the Aryan invasion theory. Now, Aryan invasion theory has been proved wrong by leading scholars of the country, including Bhimrao Ambedkar. Ambedkar also was against Aryan invasion theory. So this is part of their larger game plan, which is to divide the society between outsiders and locals. You get my point? So you have to look at it from that point of view. And I mean, you see, he was calling names to Sanatan, the same gentleman, last year, a year before last, correct? So this is part of a larger game plan to encourage parochial politics for their own gains
1 minute, I'll
at the
correct.
cost of unity of the nation. I'll put it that way. You see, what is their plan? What is their game plan? Their game plan is to play one section of the society against the other. Correct? So, Brahminism is associated with Sanskrit. Correct? Brahminism is associated with Sanskrit. So, they are attacking Sanskrit. So, basically, while BJP talks about, unifying the nation, rising above parochial feelings, parochial parties, here is a party and a leader which wants to divide the society for political gains. I think this is a larger view of the whole controversy.
But Mr. Mahorkar, the argument is also this, that you're spending all of this kind of money for preserving Sanskrit, for keeping it going, for ensuring that there are more people that speak Sanskrit, there are more people that read these translated works. But that's really not happening. That's the argument that Pularao on the panel was also making, that you're spending all this money, but where is the money going? There is no real proof to show that this money is being put to good use.
That is a different debate. You have to go into it. How funds allocated for Sanskrit are being used, it's a different debate altogether. And now, you see, he's comparing the money spent on Sanskrit with money spent on Tamil. If at all he wants an honest comparison, then he should compare the money that the government has spent on Tamil, Bengali, on ODC language, other regional languages, not Sanskrit. Sanskrit is a classical language.
But Tamil does have a tag of a classical language as well. But
Pularao wants to make a comparison, he should compare the money spent on Sanskrit by center with money spent by center on other vernacular languages, on Gujarati, on ODC.
But the argument of the DMK and its allies is that all of these are classical languages, but just one classical language seems to be more equal than everyone else. But Pularao, at least as far as Udhayanidhi Stalin is concerned, there is definitely a pattern, and which is what seems to be irking the BJP, its supporters, and a lot of other people in this country.
Sanskrit is the mother of almost all languages.
Sure, I agree. It is a root language for many languages in India.
Sanskrit is the pathway to go.
I agree with you.
It is a pathway for us to go to our roots.
I agree with you.
There is no comparison between Sanskrit and other languages.
I agree with you, but as far as the government of the day is concerned, the government of India is concerned, they have tagged all of these languages as classical Indian languages, which also includes Tamil. But Pularao, I want to ask you about the comments that Udhayanidhi Stalin has made. And the larger pattern seems to be what the problem is, that you're trying to divide and take parochialism to such an extent that it is the only thing that it does is divide. Pularao, I believe you're on mute. If you could just unmute yourself.
That's right. This whole thing did not start with Udhayanidhi Stalin or his father Stalin or even Karnataka. The DMK movement started in 1920 in the form of Justice Party. That was the forerunner of the DMK. The Justice Party became the DK. The DK became the DMK. From the DMK, you got the ADMK. It's a 105-year-old movement. These, I will say what they are saying, is background noise in Tamil Nadu from 1920. Do you know that the first government in self-government in Tamil Nadu was a non-Congress party, the Justice Party? I'm sure my friend knows that. It was not a Congress government. It was a non-Congress party, the Justice Party of Madras Presidency, 1935. These are not new noises that suddenly he's discovered something. This is going on. And people there have heard about it and their ancestors for the last 105 years. The same thing. Now it has become much more mellow, much more soft, much more nuanced. And slowly, as there is more integration and you give space.
But this is not nuanced, Pularao. What he said about Sanskrit being dead, what he said about eradicating Sanatan Dharma, it's not nuanced at all. It's not something that a politician, somebody who's at the post of a deputy chief minister of a state should be saying.
If you want nuance, there's no other explanation for dead. Otherwise, it's half dead. He could have said that. What he meant was it is inert. Obviously, I can't speak for him, but what reading between the lines, he meant it was inert. It is inert. Go check out in your office, check out how many people are talking.
Isn't that
What
more
I'm
reason?
saying
Isn't
is,
that more reason that there would be funds required to keep the language going? To
Yeah, but
ensure
not
that
to put it
there
in,
is an ecosystem that keeps the
say-
language going, unlike Tamil, which is spoken
It's not-
very
it's not
often,
going
and
anywhere.
by Udhayanidhi Stalin's own admission that a large number of population speaks Tamil, unlike Sanskrit.
Yeah, large number speaks Tamil, and government should encourage Tamil, Telugu, other languages. If you want, the Prime Minister said, I'm surprised my two friends have not quoted him. The Prime Minister said, Mr. Macaulay, Thomas Babington Macaulay started this whole movement 200 years ago against India. Let's forget it. Let's go ahead. One of the best ways to do it is to reach out, fund, support languages like Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Cantonese, Odisha, what my friend said. That's not being done. That's not being done. You check out your facts and figures. The Prime Minister said that today. Let's forget Macaulay, who started this whole thing. Let's forget it and do what? You encourage states, you call them, you have a language, you encourage all the languages in every state. There should be no problem.
Absolutely, and that pride in
But they're
one
not doing
language
it.
shouldn't come at the
But you
cost of
see-
prejudice against another. That's really
see,
important, SG Surya,
no,
isn't it? I
the
mean,
point
it's
is-
not a competition between languages. It's not a competition between states, and it really shouldn't come down to that.
Words are not
I am
enough.
very
There's no
surprised
action.
that why Mr. Pularao is not able to condemn Udhayanidhi Stalin for this malicious remarks. We are
I have
not
not
claiming,
condemned,
we are not, sir, 1 second, we are not claiming Sanskrit is spoken by so many crores of people. From the days of Jawaharlal Nehru, why Sanskrit is taken care by the central government is there is no state in India which speaks Sanskrit language. If you want Tamil, you have Tamil Nadu. If you want Malayalam, you have Kerala. You want Telugu, you have Andhra Pradesh. They have their own states to take care of their languages. Thousands of crores are being spent every year from the year 1947. Who will take care of Sanskrit? It is the central government which has to take care. We are not shy about it. It is plain truth, naked truth. Sanskrit is a treasure of our country, as told by Jawaharlal Nehru, as told by Indira Gandhi, as told by Manmohan Singh, as told by even Rahul Gandhi. So who will take care of Sanskrit? State governments are not ready to take care of Sanskrit. So it is the duty of central government to take care of Sanskrit, be it BJP, be it Congress. The Congress has established 17 universities in this country. Why? Because everybody thinks Sanskrit is a language that has to be preserved. Do you know what Jawaharlal Nehru has got to say about Sanskrit? I will read it verbatim. If I was asked what is the greatest treasure which India possesses and what is her finest heritage, I would answer unhesitatingly that it is the Sanskrit language and literature and all that it contains. Do you want to quote Rahul Gandhi? What is his opinion about Sanskrit? Rahul Gandhi says to the students of Sadvidya Sanjeevani Sanskrit Mahapathshala to promote Sanskrit language. He has also assured possible support from both the central and state government to promote Sanskrit and Sanskrit manuscripts. He also assured the Sanskrit people of a special package and a dedicated institute. What is the answer from Congress party regarding DMK's statement against Sanskrit? I don't understand. All we are telling is you have criticism about how Sanskrit universities are functioning. Let us have it as a different debate. Today the debate is whether Sanskrit is a dead language, whether we should shut down all the 18 universities where more than 3 lakh students are studying. Does Sanskrit have any value or not? If you think if it has got any value, the central government only can protect it because no state government will do it because none of the people speak Sanskrit in any of the states. That does not mean we'll have to bury our treasure. It should always remain so that the treasure should be passed on to the next
Absolutely, and like I
generations.
said, it's pride in one language shouldn't come at the cost of prejudice against another, or at the cost of another language being derided, because that's really where it takes one step too far. And we do hope that there's some sort of clarification that comes in from the DMK or from the Tamil Nadu government at this. But I have to leave it there. I thank you all, gentlemen, for joining us here on Brastax. From Tamil Nadu to Karnataka, where the Congress swept elections in 2023, yet the DK Shivkumar-Siddaramaiah clash keeps flaring up under a thin veil of unity. It's 2.5 years in power for the Congress. This was allegedly the time when DKS was told that he would be given the opportunity to be at the helm of affairs. That clearly doesn't seem to be happening, and now murmurs are only growing louder. The so-called November Revolution chatter is grabbing the headlines now. Today, Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivkumar said that factionalism isn't in his DNA. He reaffirmed that Siddaramaiah will finish his term as the Chief Minister. But that's what he says on record. Off the record, there are murmurs, there is hectic lobbying, there is muscle flexing by his camp MLAs, especially in the run-up to the cabinet reshuffle that we are going to be seeing in just a few days. He also did put out a cryptic post this morning where he talked about if there is labour, then there will be fruit. Was he expecting something for what he had done for the Congress party, for the state unit in the run-up to the elections and the fact that the Congress swept elections in Karnataka? He also revealed that a batch of MLAs rushed to Delhi to lobby the High Command before a cabinet reshuffle. That was for themselves, he said, and not for the CM's post. Siddaramaiah too came out and said that the leadership's decision is going to be final and that there is absolutely no issue between him and his deputy in the state. Both camps seem to be putting up a brave face. Both of them have put the ball in the court of the Congress High Command, who so far has remained completely mum, even as they have entertained these individuals, these MLAs from both camps, who've come to the national capital and met with them. While DK Shivkumar says that these MLAs are only lobbying for plum posts for themselves and not really making a pitch for him as the Chief Minister, the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says that it is me who is going to be presenting the next budget as well. I am here to stay, and if the High Command decides that it has to go another way, then both me and DK Shivkumar will have to comply. Is that going to be the case? Is that what MLAs and supporters of both camps going to actually agree to? Well, we'll have to wait and watch.
ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ನವರು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಲೀಡರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗಲಿ, ಸರ್ಕಾರ ರಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ರೀಶಫಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗಲಿ, ಯಾರು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡೋದು? ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ನವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾರ? ಏನು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಕೆಲವರು ಹಿಂದೇನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಈಗಲೂ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂತಿಮವಾಗಿ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡು ಏನು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಕೇಳಬೇಕು, ಡಿ ಕೆ ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು. ಹೌದು, ನಾನೇ ಮುಂದುವರಿತೀನಿ, ಬಜೆಟ್ನೂ ನಾನೇ ಮಂಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಳೆ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ನವರು ಹೇಳಿದಾರಾ? ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅದರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು.
Making a group is not there in my blood. All 140 MLAs are my MLAs. Honorable Chief Minister decided he will reshuffle the government. He will reshuffle the government and cabinet. So all of them are interested that they wanted to become ministers. It is quite natural they will go and meet the leaders of the Delhi. It is quite natural they will go out of the Delhi to meet leaders in the Delhi. Apart from that, what I can say, they have every right. I have not taken anyone. Some of them went and met Karge Saab. Along with Chief Minister also they went in the plane, some of them. What is wrong? They are going, it is their life, whether no one has called them, but voluntarily they are going and showing their faces.
What you're seeing in Karnataka today is pure power play and muscle flexing. So Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has made it very clear that any decision that has to be taken will come from the High Command. And he has said that be it himself or DK Shivkumar, they need to fall in line with what the High Command says. Very clearly, the ball is in the court of the Congress High Command. You have delegations that are going who are supporters of DK Shivkumar flying to Delhi, trying to meet the High Command as well. You also have dinner meetings that are taking place of supporters of Siddaramaiah and discussing how many people are actually backing him and as well what they should do. These two dinner meetings that we are also seeing are very important. Number one, the people who are supporting Siddaramaiah are basically saying that not only are they going to be backing him completely as Chief Minister, but they also discuss about a possibility of a dark horse if the time arises for something like that. But we also know that Chief Minister Siddaramaiah had made a call to Mallikarjun Kharge, the AICC chief, and made it very clear to him saying that any such kind of delegations who are going in terms of showing support for DK Shivkumar is affecting the image of the Congress party, not just in Karnataka, but across the country as well. Also, Kharge has assured that he will find a solution to this as well.
Tragedy struck the Dubai Air Show today at about 2:10 p.m. this afternoon. An Indian fighter jet, Tejas Mark 1, crashed during a flying demonstration, sending thick black smoke billowing over the Al Maktoum International Airport. Spectators watched in shock as the single-seat aircraft plummeted to the ground. Emergency crews rushed to the site to rescue survivors and control the fire, but the aircraft was completely destroyed, leaving behind charred wreckage. The Indian Air Force, in fact, has confirmed that the pilot was also killed in the crash. Condolences have come in from across the border. We've come in from across the spectrum here in India as well. Raksha Mantri too condoling the loss of the fighter pilot. So what exactly transpired and what was this aircraft that crashed in Dubai? The crashed fighter jet Tejas Mark 1 is part of the two operational squadrons of the Indian Air Force. The two operational squadrons were both in southern India, from where 3 of these flew to Dubai for this air show. It's a 4th-generation fighter aircraft that is a part of India's arsenal. It is one of the 3 Tejas Mark 1s that were present and participating in the Dubai air show. There are at least 40 Tejas Mark 1 aircraft that are used by the Indian Air Force for its operations currently. Now, an important aspect of the Tejas is that it has deliberate aerodynamic instability, which allows it to be highly agile during combat maneuvers. This characteristic demands a sophisticated fly-by-wire control system that constantly makes micro-adjustments to keep the aircraft stable in flight. While only a thorough investigation can find out what actually happened in Dubai today, videos from the air show indicated that the light combat aircraft suddenly lost altitude while trying to regain level flight after completing a loop maneuver. Could that be the reason? Well, negative G in aviation refers to forces that are acting on an aircraft and its components in the opposite direction of normal gravity. These forces are typically experienced during aerobatic maneuvers, sudden descent, or severe turbulence. If not properly managed, negative G can lead to disorientation of the pilot, loss of consciousness, sometimes blood pooling in the head of the pilot as well. Now, pilots do undergo specific training to manage and mitigate the effects of the negative G forces during these kind of operations. We don't know if this is what happened in this particular case. Only a thorough investigation will reveal that. There's already a court of inquiry that has been instituted by the Indian Air Force, which will get us more details of what exactly transpired. But experts do say that the recovery failure of this particular jet may have contributed to the crash. I do want to get in a very special guest that joins us here. Air Marshal Anil Chopra, former fighter pilot, is also joining us on this broadcast. Thank you so much for speaking with us, sir, here on CNN News 18. You survived a Mirage 2000 crash. This was back in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. The scenes that we are seeing today, what do you make of it? What do you make of what may have happened today?
You know, every crash, I must say, is very unfortunate. More so if it's a fatal crash where the pilot, a very great professional, who is the best in the country, best especially chosen to do a display of this kind, is lost. And it really pains, and my condolences to the family. Now, we all have seen the videos, the visuals. I myself have been a flying display director at Aero India 2003. I understand the whole mechanics of carrying out an air show of this kind. The pilots are flying at the limits of the envelope of the aircraft. It's a display. You're trying to impress not only the public, but also the professionals and the possible people who could be buying that aircraft one day. So it is a very challenging task to carry out a display. Therefore, very mature and good fighter pilots or test pilots are carrying out these displays. Now, what we have seen today, of course, I'm not conjecturing, it has been a downward repositioning turn. Some people are calling it barrel roll, but yes, basically he's trying to reposition. And in the downward part of the maneuver, in the terminal part, there has been a mush. That means the speed and the rate of descent, our combination is such that the aircraft has gone into the ground. Now, again, as I said, many people have talked about, could it be a control failure, technical failure, engine thrust reduction at some stage? Anything can happen, could be an error of judgment, or error of assessment of the rate of descent. But I must tell you that, you know, I was the flying member of the court inquiry of Wing Commander Joe Bakshi, who crashed in a similar display at Palam Airport, flying the Mirage 2000. And I will tell you that the aircraft is fully serviceable when it flies. LCA has had a good track record, barring one aircraft which we lost earlier about a year back for a technical reason. This aircraft been fully serviceable, and there's unlikely that will be an issue. But you know, the court of inquiry will use a fine tooth comb. They will go into great details. They will look at sabotage. They will look at technical failure. They will read the FDRs of the past flights. They will look at the snags that would have been on this aircraft earlier. So great detail will come out. And mind you, there is a special crew which sits down in the air traffic control, which is specially created for the flying display, where the flying display director sits, and also an LCA pilot fully qualified on type would be sitting there to give advice or to make a corrective action if he deems fit. But the maneuvers are so dynamic that it is not possible or correct to interject as long as the pilot is carrying out maneuvers beautifully. Yes.
Air Marshal Chopra, you were once also in a similar situation. You ejected safely. Why do you think that this pilot wasn't able to? What could have been the reasons for that?
In my case, I had altitude, we had time, and therefore ejection was possible, and we were not doing a display, so the two were quite different. Yes, I did eject, the only Air Marshal in the world to have ejected in the rank of an Air Marshal, but in this case, in a display, the dynamics are absolutely very different. This is not the first time this has happened. There have been air crashes during air shows all over the world. Every 3-4 years, you have had an air crash, and there have been cases like in a Su-27 in a display hit the ground, and yet the pilots ejected and came out safely. Luckily, they didn't land in the plume of the fire that came out of the same aircraft. So everything is possible. But again, unfortunately, the pilot is no more. We do not know what was in his mind, what was the decision-making matrix, what was he going through, and how he was trying to, continue with the display. So it's not appropriate to compare the two. They were totally different situations. Yes.
Sure, I agree with you there, completely different situations, but just to get a sense of what could have happened, because we do not want to speculate into what may have happened. We, of course, will wait for the Court of Inquiry to conclude, for the IAF to come out and give us exact details of what has happened. But it is still an unfortunate loss, Air Marshal Chopra, that we're dealing with, which is why we're talking about this in the first place. And I do want to ask you this. We were talking about the FDRs, the flight data recorders, and the data which perhaps will give us an inkling and be a part of the investigation as well as to what happened. But given what has happened, the kind of scenes that we have seen, you must have seen the visuals as well. What are the chances of the recovery of the FDR? What are the chances of, getting accurate data from that?
The FDR is normally hardened. It is, placed in such a place that it is caters for a possible crash. We've seen in the recent Air India 171 case, where the whole aircraft, practically everybody barring one person died, and yet we were able to take out the FDR. It took time there because it was a large aircraft, it got into a building, but here it's open ground, it's a desert airfield, and therefore the FDR recovery might have already been done by now. We do not know, because people move very quickly. The crash crew moved very, very fast. The LCA crew, technical crew who would have been there with the aircraft which would have gone from here, they would have already moved there and might have already retrieved it. So, of course, it pains because it's an indigenous aircraft. It's our flagship aircraft. After the Marut HF-24, this is the first big aircraft that, program that we are running in the country. It's important for us that it succeeds. It has to replace the MiG-21s in large numbers. We have already committed to more than 200 aircraft, including Mark 1A. So therefore, it is all the more painful. Some of the others who are not great friends of India, they might, try to make an issue out of it, to try to belittle us, but doesn't matter. This is a time for us to be strong, and I'm sure that we, as a nation, we will pick up from where we are. And we know that these are the risks of not only fighter flying, but especially of the display flight.
And Air Marshal Chopra, the Tejas is believed to be one of the safer fighter jets that we do have. Since 2016, since the time it's been inducted in that one decade, we've only seen 2 such crashes. One happened in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. So there is reason to believe that this is an aberration, really.
If I may use a phrase, nazar lag gayi hai usko. LCA is an aircraft. We analysts who write about the LCA and AMCA program all the time, and we were all the time praising their flight safety record till finally we lost one about a year back because of technical failure. Yes, it has had a good track record. I have met the pilots and technicians who have been working on the aircraft. The pilots are very happy. Their handling qualities are very good. The fly-by-wire system is exceedingly good. And a lot of weapon integration had already taken place. The technical people are happy with the servicing. schedules that they have got improved now. With 1A, it will be even better. So I think, the aircraft was doing very well, but we know that about 4-5 days back when the aircraft was performing in Dubai, some of the Pakistani Twitter handles were making some nonsensical comments, if I may use that word. But that's okay. We are a big nation. We are here to succeed, and we are looking forward to more LCAs and the AMCA subsequently joining the Indian Air Force.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi begins a 3-day visit to South Africa to attend the G20 Leaders Summit in Johannesburg. This year's gathering also marks the 4th consecutive G20 summit hosted in the Global South. On the sidelines, Prime Minister Modi will join the 6th IBSA summit with leaders of Brazil and South Africa to review cooperation and explore ways to deepen their strategic partnership. During this visit, Prime Minister Modi is expected to hold key bilateral meetings to strengthen partnership and reinforce India's commitment to multilateral cooperation. Now, India and South Africa have worked very closely through this G20 cycle, sharing concerns especially about debt relief, climate finance and the need to amplify the voices of emerging economies in global forums. In fact, Prime Minister Modi left early this morning. In his departure statement, he said that this will be a particularly special summit, given that it would be the first G20 summit being held in Africa. During India's presidency of the G20 in 2023, the African Union had become a member of the G20, which makes it extremely special for India. Prime Minister Modi added that the summit will be an opportunity to discuss key global issues and that he will represent India's perspective at the summit, which is in line with India's vision of one Earth, one family and one future. During the visit, he said he looks forward to his interaction with the Indian diaspora in South Africa, which is one of the largest outside of India. Now, at the summit, Prime Minister Modi will outline India's views on the G20 agenda, and he's scheduled to speak in all of the 3 sessions that are based on the theme of solidarity, equality and sustainability. This presents a key opportunity for India. A strong emphasis on countering terrorism is anticipated. India has consistently pushed G20 members to act collectively against countries that support or finance extremist networks. Prime Minister Modi is likely to urge this grouping to once again adopt a firm position on terrorism in the joint declaration that comes out at the end of the summit. This year's summit continues the trend of Global South leadership. It marks the 4th consecutive G20 hosted by a developing nation. South Africa has placed issues such as debt relief, as poverty reduction and access to technology at the forefront of its agenda, and India is expected to push for that exactly, for a stronger South-to-South cooperation, including through India, Brazil and South Africa Forum. On the sidelines of the summit, Prime Minister Modi will be meeting several world leaders to discuss matters related to trade, to energy and to security. Now, the G20 summit in Johannesburg was meant to be a celebration, the first ever gathering of world's largest economies on African soil. But instead, it is set to be remembered for something entirely different, an empty chair. US President Donald Trump has decided to boycott the summit, turning what could have been a moment of global unity into a symbol of division. But the United States has now sought for a departure from tradition. They do want their inclusion in the G20. They want the inclusion of their representative, not of Donald Trump, at least a representative from the US Embassy in South Africa at the formal handover ceremony, because after South Africa, the next host of G20 would be the United States. But will South Africa agree? Well, the South African president has made it clear that he's not one to be bullied.
The G20 to fully live up to its mission of promoting international financial stability and deepening economic cooperation, there should be no unwritten rules about those who feast and those who must be settled for scraps. It cannot be that a country's geographical location or income level or army determines who has a voice and who is spoken down to. And it basically means that there should be no bullying of one nation by another nation. We are all equal.
The United States is not participating in official talks at the G20 in South Africa. I saw the South African president running his mouth a little bit against the United States and the president of the United States earlier today, and that language is not appreciated by the president or his team.
South Africa's High Commissioner to India says the G20 is simply too big to fail. Despite the US boycott, he insists that the summit will remain impactful. He also made it clear that Prime Minister Modi's presence is especially important. He called the Indian Prime Minister one of the world's most influential leaders of today.
Take us through the role that India and South Africa both have played and Prime Minister Modi has played in sort of mainstreaming Africa to G20, and how can both the countries help in aiding each other in this very deeply divided geopolitical climate?
Well, I think firstly we must again express our gratitude to Prime Minister Modi and India for having mainstreamed Africa during your presidency in 2023. It's unfortunate it took 18 summits for the African Union to become a full member, while the European Union from the outset was a full member. And had it not been for the initiative of India during your presidency, we are not sure whether the African Union would be around the table when the G20 convenes in South Africa shortly. So I think India has demonstrated that we have a long historical relationship between Africa and India.
President Donald Trump is hosting New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani in the Oval Office, the first face-to-face meeting for the two politicians since Mamdani was elected earlier this month. Now, the encounter comes after a bitter election campaign season in which Trump repeatedly labelled Mamdani a communist mayor, while Zohran Mamdani vowed to challenge the president on issues ranging from affordability to immigration. Now, although previous New York mayors have taken part in broader White House gatherings, a one-on-one Oval Office meeting marks a notable departure from recent precedent. So will they play nice or will there be fireworks? Here's what to watch out for.
I have many disagreements with the president.
The stage is set with Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani eager to talk about how President Donald Trump can help his city.
I want to just speak plainly to the president about what it means to actually stand up for New Yorkers and the way in which New Yorkers are struggling to afford this city and, frankly, cost of living.
And Trump perhaps not so eager to lend a hand.
It's going to be hard for me as the president to give a lot of money to New York. Because if you have a communist running New York, all you're doing is wasting the money you're sending there.
Mamdani is a democratic socialist, not a communist, but he has been a sharp thorn in Trump's side.
Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
In the campaign, Mamdani routinely skewered the president in the town where Trump grew up and built his fortune over inflation, accusations of corruption, election interference, and so much more.
If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him.
For his part, Trump has questioned the citizenship of Mamdani, who is a naturalized American born in Uganda. Trump endorsed Andrew Cuomo, who ran as an independent for the mayor's job, and he declared if Mamdani won, this once great city has zero chance of success or even survival. Perhaps the toughest clash came as Mamdani pledged to fight Trump's amped-up efforts to arrest suspected undocumented immigrants.
What you're doing is kidnapping.
I will be a mayor who will finally turn the page on this chapter of our city. A mayor who not only defends but is proud of our sanctuary city laws. One that recognizes that they are laws that keep us safe.
Trump's answer?
Well, then we'll have to arrest him.
All that has the two men in such wildly opposite political corners. Some analysts suspect, even as the president and mayor-elect are touching gloves ahead of this meeting,
We want to see everything work out well for New York.
they are also bracing for a brawl.
I'll be ready for whatever happens.
Yeah.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Now, as the probe into the Delhi blast, we're shifting our focus now. As this probe into the Delhi blast deepens, the NIA has uncovered a larger, more sinister terror conspiracy following 2 major arrests in the past 48 hours. Investigations now reveal that the group was modifying drones to develop rocket-based explosives for a Hamas-style attack in the national capital. A key breakthrough came with the arrest of Jasir Bilal Wani, who also is known as Danish, a Jammu and Kashmir resident and a key aide of Umar Nabi. He has been named an active co-conspirator, also accused of providing technical support. This includes the drone modification for a Hamas-style attack and attempts to build rocket-based bombs. Meanwhile, the Enforcement Directorate has arrested Jawad Ahmad Siddiqui, who is the founder of Al Falah University, in a money laundering case as well. As you know, when it comes to the Al Falah University, when it comes to its records, its accreditation, its finances, there is a lot to unpack. A lot remains unanswered when it comes to that as well. The arrest follows evidence which was gathered during the recent searches at locations connected to this entire terror module. Now, CNN has also accessed order which is sending the Al Falah owners to 13 days ED custody, as I just told you. The founder of the Al Falah University is in custody. Saket Court says his custodial interrogation is imperative to unearth the larger terror ecosystem, the Al Falah ecosystem. Saket Court also noted that the ED submission that only a small part of Al Falah ecosystem has been identified till now. And they've also said that his family members are in the Gulf and he might flee the country as well. So that is a threat that remains. However, the owner has been sent into 13 days custody and that remains imperative. He is a very, very crucial link here. As you know, Al Falah was truly at the center of all the terror that was emerging from this university, and we're yet to uncover what was really going on behind the scenes. For more on this, we have with us Ananya. Thank you so much for joining us, Ananya. We really are learning more and more about this Al Falah University. It only goes to show how far and wide this entire network had spread.
Well, absolutely. In fact, this is a big breakthrough that the Enforcement Directorate had as far as the funding of the Al Falah University is concerned. And the Al Falah Trust owner was actually taken into custody by the Enforcement Directorate yesterday. And a 13-day police custody remand was granted after he was produced late last night before, in fact, the additional sessions judge at the Saket Court. And very important to highlight is that the court has noticed that not only his family members are in the Gulf, but there is a big risk that he might flee the country. And that's the reason why custodial interrogation is necessary. Not only that, a small chunk, the Enforcement Directorate says and tells the court that a small chunk of the Al Falah ecosystem, which amounts to over 415 crores, is something that has been uncovered, and it could be much larger in nature, and that is why his custodial interrogation is necessary, since he's somebody who knows about all the financial roots of the Al Falah Trust and the kind of funding that comes through the Al Falah University. And that's the reason why, in fact, this particular person needs to be in the custody of the Enforcement Directorate. 13 days of police custody remand is what has been granted. 14 days was actually sought. And that is something, that makes it very, very imperative as to what was this university actually in reality. Was it, in fact, a terror funding ecosystem? Was it a university that was fueling terror, or whether there are much more than what meets the eye, is something that could be uncovered by this multi-agency probe that is being carried out by, in fact, the Enforcement Directorate, the National Investigation Agency, and obviously the Faridabad and the Delhi Police itself.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Now, as the probe into the Delhi blast, we're shifting our focus now, as this probe into the Delhi blast deepens, the NIA has uncovered a larger, more sinister terror conspiracy following two major arrests in the past 48 hours. Investigations now reveal that the group was modifying drones to develop rocket-based explosives for a Hamas-style attack in the national capital. A key breakthrough came with the arrest of Jasir Bilal Wani, who also is known as Danish, a Jammu and Kashmir resident and a key aide of Umar Nabi. He has been named an active co-conspirator, also accused of providing technical support. This includes the drone modification for a Hamas-style attack and attempts to build rocket-based bombs. Meanwhile, the Enforcement Directorate has arrested Jawad Ahmad Siddiqui, who is the founder of Al-Falah University, in a money laundering case as well. As you know, when it comes to the Al-Falah University, when it comes to its records, its accreditation, its finances, there is a lot to unpack. There a lot remains unanswered when it comes to that as well. The arrest follows evidence which was gathered during the recent searches at locations connected to this entire terror module. Now, CNN has also accessed order which is sending the Al-Falah owners to 13 days ED custody, as I just told you. The founder of the Al-Falah University is in custody. Saket Court says his custodial interrogation is imperative to unearth the larger terror ecosystem, the Al-Falah ecosystem. Saket Court also noted that the ED submission that only a small part of Al-Falah ecosystem has been identified till now. And they've also said that his family members are in the Gulf and he might flee the country as well. So that is a threat that remains. However, the owner has been sent into 13 days custody and that remains imperative. He is a very, very crucial link here. As you know, Al-Falah was truly at the center of all the terror that was emerging from this university, and we're yet to uncover what was really going on behind the scenes. For more on this, we have with us Ananya. Thank you so much for joining us, Ananya. We really are learning more and more about this Al-Falah University. It only goes to show how far and wide this entire network had spread.
Well, absolutely. In fact, this is a big breakthrough that the Enforcement Directorate had as far as the funding of the Al-Falah University is concerned. And the Al-Falah Trust owner was actually taken into custody by the Enforcement Directorate.
Viewers, I want tonight to begin by addressing those individuals, sadly some among us, who are today rejoicing that the IF has lost the LAC Tejas aircraft in Dubai. A section of Indians is building a narrative that the Tejas crash is a reflection on the aircraft, the competency of Indian pilots, and worse, the capabilities of Indian manufacturing. This lobby, viewers, has spread a fake video of an oil leak that they say bedeviled the Tejas. This lobby has gleefully politicized the crash, saying it is a metaphor for Modi government's crashing stock in India. Viewers, don't fall for this. The Tejas is one of the best of its class. The pilot was one of India's best, perhaps the best. This jet was part of 2 operational squadrons of the IF. This jet, viewers, has seen operations. It is one of 3 present at the Dubai Air Show. Viewers, this Tejas Mk1 has been integrated into our forces. It's a 4th generation fighter aircraft. One of 3 present at the Dubai Air Show. And remember, viewers, one of 40 Mk1 aircraft used in Indian Air Force operations. From what we're being told, the aircraft made a negative G maneuver. You can see it on your screens. An aerobatic turn that is not just part of the training repertoire, but also very natural. Second nature for a plane like the Tejas to execute. The plane has several redundancies built into it, which makes it almost immune to failure. Its most critical operating systems, its fly-by-wire machinery, is made indigenously. The negative G maneuver aircraft is pushing the aircraft in the opposite direction of gravity.